What is light? It is defined as electromagnetic radiation that can be detected by the human eye. But where does the light come from? What started it? What if I told you it's not what, but who? Science is right. Sort of. In the beginning there was darkness, and at some point, light. But what happened in between is both simpler and more incredible than they could possibly imagine. The answer is, God spoke. And there was an explosion of matter and energy as the universe took shape at His command. It was God who sits above the circle of the earth, who stretched out the heavens like a curtain and spread them out like a tent for us to dwell in, and He filled it with light. He placed every star, and He knows them each by name. And it is His greatness and strength that holds it all together because He cares for it. But haven't you heard? As marvelous and wondrous as the universe is, there is one part of creation that God cares most about. It's you. You are more precious than any star. He has placed you and He knows you by name. But more than that, you are made in His image. God loves you so much that He sent His only begotten Son into the world to be the light of the world. Unlike the stars that will one day fade, this light is unquenchable, infinite. He is the light that cuts through the darkness in the black hole of our hearts, and He is not overcome by it. He illuminates it forever. This is the message we proclaim, that God is light. There is no darkness in Him. And through Christ, we have fellowship with Him. We are His church. This is the story of how God turned one small spark into a blazing torch for 2 decades now and counting. It's a good thing this all doesn't depend on us. We would just be a candle blowing in the wind, destined to blow out. But instead, we continue to shine because we are connected to, established by, and rooted in the true source of light. Our story is His glory. In October 2003, CFC began when 11 people gathered at a home in Harford County. 1 year later, they had grown 10 times. Now 100 people were on the move to Falston High, where they committed to do church in a box. But the God who was committed to us was never in a box, and He had bigger plans. In 2009, God's grace for CFC was officially on record. It was a road paved with hope and walked by faith. God was faithful. We now owned our first building. But entering 2010, after that building campaign, the church felt worn down, physically, emotionally, and financially. With less than $5,000 across all our accounts, we weren't sure how long we'd be able to keep the lights on. But the one who said He would be our light showed up again. We made our requests known, and by June of that year, every ministry expense was not only fully funded, there was overflow. God continued to express His extravagant generosity to us. It's why we incorporate giving as a form of worship, not as a rule of law, but an opportunity to honor God with what we have and to participate in what He is doing through us, His church. Over the next few years, we saw unprecedented growth, and in 2014, we moved to 3 services. But just days before our 3rd service launch, we were still understaffed. Yet once again, at the last minute, provision. New volunteers stepped up. People like you who were equipped to serve and lead others in fulfilling our mission. We also got fully staffed in every ministry for the next 2.5 years before God opened the next door, the one you walked in today. We first stepped into this location in 2016. Since then, we've grown as a family, and we've watched families grow. Like any family, we've never been perfect, but we've always kept our eyes on the one who is. He helps us to forgive each other, to love each other, to walk as children of light. And we would need that foundation because no one was fully prepared for the dark days that would come. In 2020, the world nearly imploded. A global pandemic caused everything to shut down. Amidst seemingly endless death, chaos, confusion, and darkness, the last thing the world needed was for the church to dim its light. And so we continued to shine, trusting in our source, the one true light. For the first time ever, we held a virtual worship service. We thought it might be several weeks, but that turned into 11 months. During that time, the doors of the building were shut, but the church was in full effect. It was more important than ever for the good news of radical grace to extend beyond four walls. Acting as the hands and feet of Jesus, we supported hospitals, local businesses, and outreach ministries. We met on the lawn, did baptisms, children's ministry drop-offs, and Christmas at home kits. God not only kept our church together, He added new people and allowed us to shine brighter than ever. The church keeps growing and flourishing, but it's not because we're so smart or talented or even so spiritual. It's because our lead story has always been and will always be Jesus. It's why we want to help people experience a genuine and growing relationship with Him. We march forward with a missionary mentality to engage our culture, to meet people where they are. We do this in service to our communities and to each other for one reason: the gospel, the true gospel, the beautiful gospel, the simple gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ and what He did for us. Today, as we mark 20 years, we have so much to be thankful for. God has preserved, protected, and prospered CFC through countless obstacles and changing circumstances. It's been our story for 20 years. That's 240 months, 1,040 Sundays, hundreds of lives touched, thousands of stories. But the number that matters most is one name. It's about His faithfulness, His goodness, His mercy and grace. This is our God. He is the one who gives us life and invites us to be a light to the world around us, the one to whom we sing, the one worthy of our praise, the one who loves us, who saves us, the one who helps us. It's always been Him growing His church. It's always been Him shining His light on us. So as we celebrate today, it's not about how good we are, it's about how great that name is. The one name, our lead story, Jesus.